Go for it.
Just want to say thank you to everybody for attending tonight. Welcome to the club. Before we get started, we're just going to go through a quick set of the house rules, and then we'll go ahead and introduce the sponsors. So as we move along, we just have a disclaimer here that we are practitioners in the business. We don't offer legal advice or tax advice. So if you need that type of advice, go to those appropriate professionals. And the information that we're giving is just educational examples only. Can't guarantee any returns. So
yeah, I need due diligence, right?
Yeah, everybody's required to do their own due diligence. Oops. So, yeah, so the house rules are, we ask that you guys all just mute your microphones as we're speaking, given the presentation. It just helps that we don't have any distractions. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them in the chat box. We are recording it, so you'll be able to get that information by putting your email in the chat box. And then, of course, we don't endorse anybody. So everybody is expected to do their own diligence. We have vendors that we do work with and that we do talk about. Those are people that we know and trust. But of course, when you're developing your own business relationships, it's on you to do your own diligence and make sure that you're working with people that you know and trust.
Yeah. Hey, Jeffrey, let me just chime in on that. Yeah, guys. I know some of you are new here in the group, and in these kind of clubs, it's not uncommon that there's going to be people that have deals, business ventures, things of that nature. Okay, and we just want to be very clear about it that we do not endorse anybody's business opportunities, anybody's real estate ventures, or any of that. You have to do your own due diligence, okay? If somebody comes up to you with an opportunity, but we like our sponsors, we endorse our sponsors, but anybody else that is coming up out of the blue here, we don't know what they got going on. So that's why we say, please do your own due diligence. And should somebody, present something that you might be interested, we may be able to help you on how to do proper due diligence on somebody and direct you in that fashion.
So yeah, we just try to tell people to go ahead and encourage people to network. I know it's a little challenging in the world of Zoom meetings these days. Eventually we will get back to doing live meetings, but definitely there's plenty of people in here that are doing deals, and if you exchange your email, that's a great way to start connecting with people and then really establish your network. And today, of course, it's the three of us, Omar, myself, and Carlos. We're going to be talking about a recent house flip that we did in Long Beach, California. So it's going to be a really good property that we're going to talk about. And some of the things many things that we did right, and a few things that we didn't do so right. So, that's also going to be a really good talk. And before we get started, I would like to say thank you to all of our sponsors. So we're going to go ahead and introduce the sponsors that are here so they can, briefly talk about their businesses. And the first one is PropStream, which we do have a video for PropStream. So we're gonna play that at the end because they're actually doing another presentation. But I know Matt McCarthy is here with Pivotal Capital. So the floor is yours, Matt. Please introduce yourself. Yeah, take your mic, unmute your mic.
All right. Once again, thank you, Omar, Jeffrey, Carlos, for having me here tonight. My name is Matt McCarthy. I work with Pivotal Capital Group. We provide funding for fix and flips, new construction, bridge loans in all of California. I'm really proud tonight to say that I worked with LaRue Investments on tonight's project on Lemon, and I would love to work with you guys on that. I would like to work with you guys on any of your future projects. My phone number, email is in the chat section. Once again, Matt McCarthy with Pivotal Capital Group. Thank you guys and have a good night.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Okay, next up, we have Home Choice Property Management. So any investors out there that have buy and holds, if you need property management, we use Home Choice Property Management. You can get a hold of Jesse at homechoicepm.com. So, yep. And then, of course, our other hard money lender, Trillion Capital. Is Karen on the floor? And can you unmute yourself and introduce yourself, please, Karen?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Karen Moore with Trillion Capital. We are the other hard money lender. And I always like to say it is good to have more than one hard money lender in your pocket. You never know when you're going to need something a little different that you're used to. And possibly we have different programs among different lenders. So we do between 80 and 90% of purchase price, 100% of construction. The things that set us apart is that we don't require a credit check. Typically, we don't require in-depth financials. So you're not going to get a ding on your credit when you come do a loan with us. We also really concentrate on being customer centric. So what that means is that when you deal with us, if you were to bring me a deal, you have me for the whole deal. So you're not getting passed around to a bunch of different departments. And that helps us really get to know you and get to know how to serve you best and to keep you coming back. We do provide proof of funds. So if anyone out there is new and starting to make offers and needs proof of funds, we're happy to do that with a really simple 2-page application. And we don't have any junk fees whatsoever. So I'm sure nobody here does this, but some lenders have a lot of added fees to kind of make up so they can quote a really low quote of points and interest and then make up for it with fees. So there's fees like doc fees, which is just to prepare the documents, underwriting, analysis, draw fees, there's all kinds of fees that can add on, and it can be a point or two sometimes. So we make a point not to do that at all. And we can get you your funds really quickly. I actually just closed for the first time all by myself, one deal in 2 days. Found out on Wednesday, funded Thursday to close on Friday. So it was pretty crazy.
Congratulations on that.
Awesome.
That was interesting. I didn't do anything else for like 48 hours, but it was good. So yeah, we can fund really fast, and we make sure that we can fund your draws really quickly to keep your projects going. So, so yeah, we'd love to meet you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll put my information in the chat again, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Karen.
Awesome.
Sure.
Thank you so much. Yep.
So our next sponsor is Leung Tax Consulting. Pat Leung is a professional tax consultant that works primarily with business owners and real estate investors. She's a great asset or a great person to work with. And they're in Irvine. Their telephone number's up on the screen. So if you have any need for tax consulting, go ahead and give Leung Tax a call or an email. And then we have Lucy from Arbor One. Is Lucy here tonight? If you are, unmute yourself. Please say hello. No. Okay. Well, Arbor One Escrow is an escrow company that's been sponsored the club for a little bit of while now, a couple years, and they actually have a very good program where they work with investors. So when you resell a property, they don't charge the seller the escrow fees. So if you're an investor and you're doing a lot of house flipping, Arbor One is a great company to work with to save some extra money with your escrow fees.
And they also were involved on this particular deal also.
Oh yeah, that's true. So yeah, make sure you guys ask questions to our sponsors. You can send them emails. All of the sponsors that are here, they are very open to working with new clientele. So yeah, by all means, give them some contact. And I'm not sure. I think we have
let me see if I can get that video for the prop stream folks.
Okay, so sit tight, everybody, while Omar brings that up.
Hey, everybody,
So-
Burton here with PropStream.
You get it, but it's not on the screen yet.
Yeah, okay, hang on. I got like 20 windows open here. Okay, let me stop this for a second. All right. By the way, is there anybody here that's ever worked with PropStream before? Besides Carlos? I know Carlos has.
Yeah, PropStream is great. I know we mainly use it. We have used it in the past on a dozen deals, mainly to find cash buyers, and we've been able to extract a nice list of cash buyers to be able to wholesale them fast. So that's why we like it here, and why I've been using it for about 1.5 years or almost 2 years now.
Yeah. So yeah, they got a great platform. So let me go ahead and share the screen here. All right. And
Hey, everybody, Burton here with PropStream.
can you guys see the screen, by the way? Are you guys seeing the
Yes.
map?
Yeah.
Okay.
I get it. You're probably wondering, what can PropStream do for me in my real estate business? Well, let me kind of give you guys a really brief overview of what our system can do. What you're looking at right now is PropStream, and what PropStream has been able to do for the last 15 years is help investors like yourself find off-market properties, market to them, as well as vet an individual property. Because not only can our system help you with generating leads, collecting contact information, and marketing to them directly via postcard, voicemail, or email, but our system can also help you vet an individual property, showing you property information, financial information, even the situational data, like if it's in a lien scenario, bankruptcy scenario, etc. Let me show you exactly what I mean. In terms of vetting a property, you can go anywhere in the United States of America and click on an individual parcel. So as I'm doing right now, I'm zooming into Nashville, Tennessee. As I get to this area, you'll start seeing parcels appear. Go ahead and click on any of these parcels. And this is essentially what we've been doing for the last 15 years. You'll be able to click on any property nationwide, go into the details of the property, and immediately know a lot about the property so you can talk with confidence. In this area here is what we call the property details page. This will show you property details like the owner information, property characteristics, land and location information, tax information, documents and reports. So whether it's this property or perhaps the property just north 3 blocks down, you'll be able to click on that property and analyze, essentially vet that property. You'll know how old the building is, how many beds and bathrooms, whether it's in an HOA or not, whether the homeowner has a mortgage or not. So whether we're talking about a property in Nashville, Tennessee, or an address you actually type in, like for example, my childhood home in Downey, California, simply typing in an address or clicking on the parcel will get you straight to the property's details. From there, you can talk to Angel and Deborah, the current property owners, about their 70-year-old building, about owning it for 5 years and the hardship of being a property owner for that long, the mortgage that they might be tired of making payments on. So all of our data comes together for you to vet the property, ask questions confidently, and ultimately use our comparable section to access public records. These are properties that sold on and off market that have been recorded at the county level, and then MLS records. These are properties that sold through an agent. You can even use them both. Feel free to use our filters to isolate the correct comparables, increase or decrease your distance for results. And ultimately, once you have your results based on the filters that you've applied, you'll be able to see the address that sold, the date that it sold, the price point that it sold at, the property characteristics, and some of them even include photos. So you'll be able to determine if that property that sold was in a rehab condition or sold in an as-is condition. Finally, we'll allow you to check off the results the comps that you like that are best suited for the property you're dealing with, and generate a port. So whether it's 4 comps, 5 comps, or 7 comps, you'll finally be able to go to actions here on the right side, followed by view comps report, to generate a port that you can take with you when you're negotiating face-to-face with the homeowner. Or perhaps you want to send this to a buyer and explain to your buyers how you came up with the after repair value. We'll also show you the subject property, the comps, and the thumbnail photos, as well as the interior photos will also be included in your comps report. So not only is PropStream used for vetting an individual property simply by clicking on the parcel or searching the address in this case, followed by going into the details, PropStream can be utilized to search any market in the United States and build a list. So I can go from Downey, California to, let's say, Miami, Florida, and access the 400,000 records PropStream has collected, followed by going into the filter, choosing any of the 19 categories PropStream has to offer, like, for example, failed listings or senior owners, and then use the additional criteria to add more motivation, like a senior owner that's absent from their property, currently vacated, meaning that property has no tenants. It's a residential single-family property with perhaps 2 to 4 bedrooms, off market, owned by an individual for maybe about 15 years or more, and it has about 30% in equity or more. Once I'm done, I can now hit close. Instead of dealing with 40,000 senior owners, I'm now dealing with the 26 senior owners that are non-owner occupied, vacant, with 30% in equity or more. So again, whether it's searching a property, embedding it, running comps on that property, or in this scenario, searching Miami, looking for 26 off-market properties that fit my category. From there, you'll be able to save that individual property or your list of properties. Once you save them, you'll be able to directly market to your list, either by skip tracing it, using our skip trace option here on the left-hand side, or directly marketing to them, either by a postcard, ringless voicemail, or email marketing. And this is what PropStream can do for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to click on the link down below in the description of the video for a discount on signing up with PropStream. Not only will you get a discount, but you'll get a 7-day trial with 50 free leads. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, and I believe we have an additional sponsor link, don't we, Omar? It's a PropStream OC real estate, or
Yeah,
what's our PropStream link?
Here, hang on. I'm gonna have to switch. Let me see if I can switch some gears here.
You can copy the link and paste it into chat.
Yeah, let me, okay, yeah, here, hang on, let me see here. Yeah, that's a very powerful tool, gang. Yeah, you know, for some of you that are, this is maybe your first time here, you know, you're going to get the idea that, you know, real estate investors tend to use a different set of tools. Okay, and I don't know if you guys picked it up in that guy's video there, but they also had a list there for pre-foreclosures, bank-owned properties, and you know, now that with the eviction or the moratorium had just ended over the weekend there, you know, there's some people speculating that there's probably going to be more of that happening. We'll just kind of have to see how things unfold. And let me hang on. Where is I'm trying to find my chat box here. Is this it? No, that's not it.
Too many windows.
There it is. There it is. Yeah, seriously. Okay. So here's the link there for the PropStream. Well, they'll give you some kind of discount or something because you're with our club here. But yeah, I mean, that's a powerful program. I know, Carlos, you've used it before. And you can just tell by that presentation there.
Somebody in here said it's comparable to Property Radar, but I've never used Property Radar, but I've heard that's a good tool too. And that's what it is. It's just a tool out of many tools that we have to be able to find the information, to skip trace, to send mailers. We have our own CRM too. PropStream is a CRM, but we don't use that CRM, so it's just a tool that we have that really helps us, mainly pulling a list and finding cash buyers.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you said it exactly. You said it perfectly there, Carlos. It's a
Mhm.
tool. Some people want to use, whatever, a DeWalt drill. Some people like Milwaukee drills, so it's just, it's a tool that does something similar, but our tool here they're gonna give you a deal. I don't know if Property Radar will do that, but let me continue on here. All right, so Jeffrey, if you want to,
Oh, yeah. So like next month, we're going to be having David Coe and Brian Page, I believe, that's coming in, right? Brian Miller. And they're going to be talking about development. So, it's if you want to learn, I know a lot of investors, especially people coming here, that they may be just getting started, or they may be already, you may be an experienced flipper and you want to get into the next level of real estate investing. And that's what we do with our club, is that we talk about different aspects of real estate investing. So even though Omar, myself, and Carlos, we haven't done developments ourselves, it's always an opportunity for us to learn more about it. And hopefully someday, maybe we will graduate to actually doing developments. But yeah, we invite you all to come next month, September 7th, and listen to David and Brian share their experience doing value add developments in Southern California.
yeah, that's going to be an
Yeah.
exciting presentation there. Don't miss that one.
Okay, and then of course we invite you guys to subscribe. We have our Orange County Investment Club website, OC Phoebe, Orange County Real Estate Investment. So you could find us on Meetup also, and so please go ahead and subscribe, and then you'll get the email notifications of when we're doing the next meetings.
Hey, Jeffrey, let them know about the recording of it and how to get it.
Oh, yeah. And if you guys would like to get a recording of tonight's meeting, please enter your email address into the chat box. And we're going to go ahead and, collect all those emails. And then once we get the video edited down, we'll send you a private link. We do keep it as a private because we know your time is valuable, and we want to make sure that we're respecting your time by giving you a reward for actually spending your evening with us and actually having spent the time. Whereas we don't post it for everybody where they didn't actually spend the time to come and be at tonight's meeting. So if you'd like to get a copy of the video, just go ahead and plug in your email, and then like I said, and it usually takes us about a day or so, maybe 2 days, to get the video edited down, and then we send out the links.
Mhm.
And then
Okay.
I think that's about it for the introductions. Yeah, of course, we have our social media. Who doesn't? So, if you like, please follow us on Facebook and Instagram. But I think we're just going to go ahead and get started. Everybody knows about the social media by now, and so tonight it's going to be myself, Omar, and Carlos. And we are going to be talking about this recent house flip that we just did. And I don't know if you've already got the presentation up and ready to go, Omar, but let's go ahead and bring it up, and then I'll kind of give an intro, and then turn it back over to you guys.
Yeah, let me go ahead and.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Welcome.
Yeah, that was
Let's see.
nicely done. Let me just close out all these windows here and get this this guy going. All right. So let me know if you guys see a slide up.
There we go. Yep.
There we go. Yep.
Okay, all right. Okay, and yeah, just to reiterate what Jeffrey was saying about the recording, it's going to be uploaded to a private YouTube link. So that's why you want to make sure you put your email in, because not everybody's going to get the link. Only you folks that put the time and energy to be here with us. So
Mhm.
so all right, so let's get oops, too far. Okay, so
Yeah.
in this presentation, we're going to be hitting on these four major topics here: the purchasing and finding of a deal, going into the rehab process, and then the sale process. And and through all of these guys, there were challenges and obstacles to go through. So we're going to get into those. What we did right.
Mhm.
And what we didn't do not so right, and me and Jeffrey, we've been partners together here for over a dozen years now.
Mhm.
And whenever we finish a project, we kind of like to get together and do a review of the project and talk about what we did right, what we could do better, because we're always trying to be better at our business here.
Yeah.
So this is a house here, 1486 Lemon Street in Long Beach, the infamous Roach House. And it's it's a little 2-bedroom, 1-bath house out in Long Beach. There's
Little starter home.
little starter
Yeah.
home, and as far as flips go, there's nothing, super monumental about this house. It's 800 square feet, built in the 1920s. But the thing is, guys, that when you have a nice big house with with the nice big kitchen, and all you really got to think about or what your finishes are going to be, hey, that's relatively a relatively easier flip. But when you got these small houses, and the one we did previously, that was a small house too. It was just under 900 square feet.
It was very similar.
Very similar, right, Carlos? And so with these smaller houses and then these older houses too, there's certain things to them that present challenges, and you really have to bring up your creative juices quite a bit to solve some of these issues here. And so that's what we're going to talk about. Like I said, it's 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, only a little over 800 square feet.
Mhm.
And because it was built so long ago, it had plaster walls on there. Okay. Some of you younger folks that are here with us, you probably don't even know what a plaster wall is, but you're going to find out here in a bit. And it had small kitchen in there. So we had to figure out how we're going to work with that.
It was very tiny kitchen, super
Yeah.
ugly.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, when we closed on that deal, I was kind of a little nervous about that kitchen. But we investing in real estate, it's a team sport, guys, and we're going to talk about some of the people that helped us along the way here.
Mhm.
It's vastly outdated. It was roach infested, and this was literally the quintessential worst house on the block.
Literally, yep.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys can see my mouse on the screen here, but the neighbor here to the right, they were ecstatic once they found out we took over the house, because the tenants that were living there, she told me, oh my God, we had such a hard time sleeping because my husband wakes up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go to work, and sometimes they're up there playing their music late at night. So
Like midnight, one in the super late or really early, and nobody really liked them. So it was that they were just really loud tenants because they were renting.
yeah, exactly. So it's like the worst house on the block, and then on top of that, you have lousy neighbors. And the interesting thing about that is that as we started fixing this house, this guy next door, and I actually wanted to buy this house because this van was actually on a flat tire. this van was not moving. This is like a
Mm-mm.
picture. I don't know when this was, but I actually was trying to buy this house. I was trying to find out who the owner was. I eventually found out who it was, but the guy, once he saw we were fixing up this house, then he started fixing up his house as well. So it's kind of interesting how things happen here. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So this house, hold on, I just saw somebody put a question. Why did the landlord release a home to you? Okay. Okay. So Michelle, thank you
We're
for
gonna
that
talk about that.
question. Yeah, we're gonna get into that. So we bought this house from a wholesaler out there. Okay. And some of you new people here, you may have never even heard of what a wholesaler is. And wholesalers can be a good source for finding rehab deals. Okay.
Mhm.
You have to know that when working with wholesalers is that they put a lot of, energy and marketing dollars into finding off-market deals. And when they are able to get one of these deals under contract, what they do is that they're going to blast it out to an email list that they have of prospective investors. Some of these investors
Of cash buyers.
of cash buyers, right? And,
Yeah.
And these are investors just like us. They're looking for discounted
Mhm.
properties that we can go in there, fix them up, and then flip them and make a profit.
Yeah. They basically found the deal first by maybe sending a mailer or cold calling or even door knocking. They're doing the groundwork to be able to find off market deals.
Exactly. And some of these outfits are even like brokerages, I guess, or agencies, real estate agencies that cater to investors. So that's how we're made aware of the deal. And because these guys, they have, a database of investors, they're going to be throwing it out there. So there's going to be a lot of eyes on these opportunities. So these are situations where you kind of have to move pretty fast and get in there before somebody else snatches a deal. It's not something where you can get the email and shelve it for a week or two and think you're going to come back and it's still going to be around. That's very seldom that's going to be the scenario. So we offered $360,000 on this deal.
The initial purchase price, real quick, was $379 is what they were asking for when the first came in, and we eventually settled at $360, but they were asking $379.
That's and I think there was some negotiation going back and forth on that one for a while, right, Carlos?
Yeah.
And so eventually we locked up the deal by putting in our $5,000 earnest money deposit. And this was back in April 2020. Okay. And your deposit always goes non-refundable. And and I don't know if you guys remember back in those times, but in April 22, COVID was still not a big, a big major thing like it is nowadays. I think it was just starting to kind of get rolling, and
it was back in April, so I think people were still getting scared. They didn't know what was going on. We got this new virus going around, so people were just kind of like,
yeah, but still, I don't
just
think it was
scared.
still full blown in April. Was it, Cardinals? I know
I
that
think it was by
April.
Yeah, because COVID really, the shutdowns was back in March, like the second week of March. That's when the NFL closed and the whole wave of shutdowns started to happen after like March 15th or something like that.
Okay, so there was definitely an effect happening there.
Yeah, because the tenant had lost her job, so she was trying to take care of 4 kids plus an uncle that was very special, and she didn't have a job because she had laid off because of COVID.
Yeah, so Michelle, that touches on your question there that, this was a burnt out landlord. The tenants had just completely, trashed the property. And like Carlos said, I think it was the main lady there who had a kid. She didn't have a job. She had the young kids taken care of. And
she had a few kids.
So, our business is mainly on rentals on large apartment complexes. And so I deal with a lot of tenants. I know how to qualify tenants, you know, up, down, left and right. And so the wholesaler said that they were going to attempt to find the tenants a new place to live.
Mhm.
And, you know, in my head, I said, yeah, good luck with that. So that's why I said, hey, I want to have some kind of something to protect my earnest money, because, you know, I already had a feeling that $5,000 deposit was going to stay in there for an extended period of time. So
Yeah.
I asked them, look, I want to put an addendum that says if the tenant hasn't vacated in a certain period of time, okay, well, you know, I still want to do the deal, but
But we're not gonna close.
but I wanted at least some of my EMD back. And so that's what happened. So the 75-day addendum said that if in 75 days the tenants are still not vacated, well, I'm going to get 4,000 of my deposit refunded back to me. I'm still going to have $1,000 locking up the deal, you know, because my hope was that eventually, you know, they would move out, and eventually they did move out.
Mhm.
And I think COVID kind of may have helped us out a little bit, because having a tenant in place during COVID, I think a lot of investors were nervous about that.
Mhm.
You know, whether they were going to have to evict the tenant, can you evict tenants? You know, there was a lot of imbalance in the market. There's a lot of fear in the market. You know, there's that famous Warren Buffett quote. You know, what does it say? Be fearful
When people are greedy.
Mhm.
That's right. And then what's the flip side? Be greedy when they're fearful, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there was a lot of fear going on back at that time. So, and I think because of that, there was less investor competition there.
Mhm.
So on our first walk through, me and Carlos, this is the house here. So we're walking through this house. So there's Carlos there. He's got his mask on. We got
Our
our
Leo, our contractor.
guy Leo there checking it out. So here's a kitchen here, guys. And I mean, not really much to look at here, but, you know, very small, outdated kitchen. Lovely green walls.
Mhm.
And you can see, you know, in this picture right here, you can see the corner of the stove here. It was just a very awkward kitchen. You can see the space between this stove and the edge of this cabinet right here. Not a whole lot of space to walk into this kitchen. In fact, here's a flip side.
There it is.
You know, between here and here, and this was the only, this is how you walked in. They had this thing draped. Oh, there it is right there,
To the living room.
to the
Mhm.
living room, right? And then here they had this little kind of offset here in the wall here with these benches. So just really bad layout. And you know,
It
I
was a
remember,
1922 layout, you know, it was small, it was tiny.
yeah,
There was no space.
yeah, no space. So I remember, you know, I don't know about you, Carlos, but I know I was definitely a little bit, you know, nervous how we were gonna. I knew we were gonna do something crazy here. I
Yeah.
didn't know what it was gonna
Yeah.
be. Um,
Yeah. And we even kind of closed on the deal without kind of really knowing how it's going to look like just yet until we brought in our, you know, gal who did the kitchen drawings, which was great, but it was a tough, definitely just a little bit nervous on how we were going to like turn that thing around.
right. That's what, and Carlos was just alluding there to our interior designer, Denise, who, you know, really saved that kitchen there.
I think it's because of her that she really, because that was her kitchen and we didn't see that layout until she came in and kind of gave us like, oh, that's what it's called, this peninsula that's going to look into the out, you know, the door on the outside and just have a nice view. So it's because of her that she saw it.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna get into that whole aspect. This is the bathroom here. Nothing much to look at there.
Hmm.
The bedroom, living room. You know, there's some bad ceilings going on in here. So I mean, this thing was just a big hot mess.
Hmm.
So closing the deal. So the wholesaler at the end, he couldn't find a place for the tenant. Okay. And
Mhm.
I already, you know, in my head knew that was going to happen. So
Yeah.
just before that 75-day period on the addendum, remember I had that addendum protecting my deposit there. He came back to us, he says, hey, we've offered them cash for keys, okay? And would I be willing to split the cash for keys with the wholesaler? So I said, sure, but the thing was that I had to pay the whole cash for keys up front, and then that would get credited at the sale. I said, sure, that's fine. At this point, we just want to, get in here and get our rehab going. So we funded the deal. So we had a hard money lender, Matt McCarthy there over at Pivotal. He was our go-to on this deal. And him and his team, did a great job for us there. So we highly recommend those guys. And then we had a private investor, our investor Alfred. He's done several deals with us already, so he was ready to go on this one. And so this was the funds that we used on this deal. And so we closed on that deal. We were ready to get going. Now, the first challenge we had, how much did we pay for cash for keys? Lou was asking. We gave me was $5,000. Okay, so I got a credit from the wholesaler at the end for $2,500. And basically all they did is that they just reduced their wholesale fee on the deal here. Okay, so our preferred contractor that did another small house for us out in La Habra, our other hard money lender, Karen, she was involved on that one. But he was not available on this one. I think it was a distance or whatever.
It was a little too far. He's a really good contractor, so he happened to be also extremely busy. So
right,
we had to find a different one.
Right. So we had to find a different one now, right? So on our original rehab estimates, we had estimated somewhere between 50,000 and 60,000, and we got quotes from a lot of really qualified contractors. We had like 5 of them, and I actually reached out to a flipper friend of mine, and she sent us a couple of guys also, but all the quotes were over our range. And I think it's my opinion, I think it was due to material costs, because as been on the news, lumber had gone up and other materials have gone up as well. And so I think that kind of played into that a little bit. So what do we do? So we went with the cheapest guy, which wound up being a mistake here. But in the beginning, the guy started off great. And in fact, he started the demo before the contract even closed.
He was really excited, supposedly, and he wanted the deal. He is a young guy, late 20s with his license, and he's an electrician too. And he started the demo without even closing on us. So, but
which is something I don't recommend you guys doing that. I mean, I was happy because it was gonna our timetable had been moved up. We were ahead of schedule. But I would recommend you guys, doing the work before a deal closes, because you never know if something weird happens, But the problem with the guy is that his subcontractors were doing kind of subpar work, and they were causing delays on this project. And in the end, it actually wound up costing us about as much as some of the other quotes on this deal, right, Carlos?
Basically, yeah, pretty much. At first, he quoted us the foundation, roof, and the demo, which is about like $9,900, I think it was, for those 3 items. And we had to completely add a bunch of brackets and anchors all over the foundation, change a beam, and completely demo the whole house and redo the whole roof with shingles and even some of the plywood. So we thought that was a good price.
And in fact, right here, you can kind of see this photo. Here they're demoing the roof, and you see they just kind of threw all the roof materials in the driveway. But this caused delay. What they should have done is they should have gotten a dumpster parked there in the driveway and just dumped everything in there.
He gave us a pretty low quote, which is why now that we know, he couldn't afford the dumpster fee. So he was trying to get a truck over, but it took like 2 or 3 weeks just to get a truck over to get all that trash out.
Well, what I remember happening is that he actually was getting a bid from our guy Miguel to do the demo on that. And Miguel's, I think they wanted to pay the guy like, what was it, like $500 or something? Or
Yeah.
something ridiculous like that. And I just paid the guy like over $1,000 to demo the inside. How are you gonna pay him that to demo the roof? So there was so I think the guy just did some bad pricing or whatever. I mean, but to the guy's credit, I mean, he did fix what his subcontractors couldn't get done. You know, he wanted to make the deal right.
Yeah.
And, you know, he wasn't one of these contractors that just disappears on you and leaves you hanging. So.
Well, he eventually kind of did, but yeah.
Oh, he did. Okay. Well, yeah. So, but,
Remember?
yeah. I know the guy, like, he went kind of disappeared, but I mean, in the end, we did have to bring
Yeah.
in a go-to guy because we just said, okay, you got to get off the site now. It was just too much.
Mhm.
Anthony here is asking here, did you guys look for one contractor to manage the entire area, or did you hire separate? Well, yeah, in the end, we actually did hire. In fact, the guy Leo, who did the first walkthrough, he did all the paint work
Of the exterior.
of the exterior. And then in the end, after the delays were just piling up, you know, we said, okay, you know, you're done. We're not working with you anymore. And then we brought in another go-to guy, and he did a fantastic job just finishing this project out. So,
Mhm.
you know, so this is just some photo you can see. I mean, it was just a full gut job.
It was complete good job.
Yeah. Now here's something I wanted to point out. This is kind of me trying to get away with some cost savings, which was a real error on my part. But when you have on these older houses, you have these plaster walls, and you can see here in this zoom in of this particular wall here, you can see kind of how these plaster walls, they have these wood strips that go horizontally along the wall. And initially I told the guys, you know, only take off the plaster where you need to.
Mhm.
This wall looked okay to me, so I said, no, don't even mess with that wall. But what I didn't anticipate, because we were doing all new electrical on this whole house, all new electrical, all new plumbing. I mean, pretty much this is a brand new house now. But when you start doing electrical, you got to go into these walls and put in outlets. And I totally didn't even consider that.
Mhm.
You know, so, you know, for trying to save pennies, I wound up wasting dollars and time.
And we were trying to save on the drywall and part of the demo, but it was drywall save that we were trying to save.
Right. So, you know, if you're working on these older houses, plaster walls, you know, it's better off just getting rid of everything there. You know, here's what was underneath the tub. And we kind of already expected this. It was just the floors were just rotted. Totally gone. This was it was either under the tub or under the toilet, I believe.
That is the bathroom faucet. It was completely rotten. The whole bathroom was molded, so we had to completely reframe that bathroom.
Yeah.
But that is the vanity inside the bathroom. It was just, you can just tell, it's just the damage from years of mold
Yeah, it was just
and
gone.
just being rotten.
Yeah, you can see the support beam. There's like no wood there. It's like floating. That's
Yeah, it was moving. It was floating around.
it was moving, right? So
There's the bathroom.
so here's a bath. So we just had to all of that had to go away. So here's us totally redoing the floors, all new beams, all new subfloor. And then so this is now the bathroom as it's, you know, it's starting to take form, starting to take shape, starting to look like a bathroom here.
Mhm.
Finally. And then the outside, you know, this was an older house, so some of the outside siding had to be redone.
Mhm.
And this is what our guy Leo did before he did the paint work. All new sod. And grass had to be installed on this. Okay, so what we did to increase the value, and as we were thinking about this also, you know, some of you that have that have been to our meetings here before, you may have heard my friend Sati, who's a very experienced flipper. I picked up some tips before, and in my opinion, there's kind of three levels of flippers out there, rehabbers. You have the guys that are just, the cheapest guys out there down and dirty. They want to get in there. They're going to use the cheapest materials. They're going to cut corners. And they just want to get in and out, make their money, and be damned the consequences. I don't recommend going that route, but those guys do exist. And then you have the average guys out there. And, we're kind of on the average side of things where, you're going to do everything, how it should be done. You're not going to cut corners. You're not going to put anybody in danger. But you're going to use kind of your standard materials out there, your standard Home Depot, SKUs out there, products out there. And the end result's going to wind up looking good. All right?
Yeah, we still look at the market to see what people are doing, what type of finishes are doing, and then we try and deliver a better product.
Yeah, and then you have the flippers that kind of take things to a whole nother level. And this is like my friend Sati, and these are people that have a very artistic eye. They're really kind of push the design envelope. They're not afraid to do things different, do some new things. And those folks, because they have that real artistic eye, they tend to set the market price when they sell their properties, because they're just such unique properties, and they've been very tastefully done, and very unique. And so we're asking ourselves, can we do something here to set the market using better finishes? So in order to do that and set the market and increase the value of this property, first we had to do some enhancements to the square footage, because it's such a small house, and we had to do some reconfigurations to do better, for better use of the available space here. So that's where the kitchen redesign really came into play. And then in the bathrooms, and in most flips, that's where most of your expenses are going to be. It's going to be in the kitchens and the bathrooms. And we did what we termed the gold treatment, and I'll get into that in here just a bit. But here's a nice layout that Carlos put together here for us. And on these little stars, these were things where we did things to enhance the square footage. So down here in the kitchen, we removed these walls. We opened up this wall to give it the open concept feel. We removed the wall that was here. And then right here, this was an important thing where we adjusted the closet space in this bedroom that gave us extra square footage and extra countertop space in the kitchen. So we'll get into details on that. Here in the bathroom, we removed a weird little wall that was here that really didn't serve any purpose. And then we were lucky that this bedroom had kind of a small little walk-in closet, but during the staging, I instructed them to make sure they put a dresser drawer inside the closet, because I didn't want them taking up space in the bedroom, because the bedroom's already small as it is. I mean, this bedroom is just barely maybe 11 feet by 11 feet. It's not a huge bedroom.
Very small.
Yeah, so we had to, spacing was a big consideration in this. And then in this closet here, there was a swinging door. We did something different with the bifold door so that swinging door wouldn't take up space. Okay, so this is the kitchen layout, guys, and this is a schematic that our interior designer, a lady by the name of Denise, over at the Design Divas, right, Carlos?
She's at 3 Designing Divas. Yeah, you can follow her on social media too. She's very popular. Great designs. Just her and her partner just really did a good work on this one.
Yeah, so,
I'll type it up in the chat box. 3 designing divas.
yeah, put that in there. You used to draw, Miss Roberts there, Carlos is asking you what the software you use to draw the floor plan.
Oh, you know what? That was just an application on my phone. That's why I love these phones. It's just a basic app that I downloaded that I pay $15 a month to make those drawings. Let me find it and I'll post it up. But it's just an application on my phone.
Yeah, guys, there's a lot of good technology out there. All right, so this wall right here, this corner here is actually this corner here.
Hmm.
All right, but it was actually sticking out about an extra foot this way. Okay. So knowing that, so we went to go check out what's on the other side of this wall. Luckily, on the other side of this wall was that closet there. Let me see if I can, was this closet here. And so the closet was actually like 3 feet, like 36 inches or more, 38 inches. So way more space than what's needed for a closet.
Yeah, we reduced it by, I think, 14 inches total as we pushed it and reduced it to get an additional 14 inches for the counter space.
Yeah, so that was huge right there because before this stove was kind of in an awkward angle position, just like it is right here. And this wall here, which is this wall right here, we completely blew this wall out. So you'll see that. So this is what was going on. So this is that closet there. You can see it framed out. This is we're standing here in the bedroom. On the other side of this framing is the kitchen. And then this photo to the right, now we're standing in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bedroom on the other side. And you can actually see here the outline of how far out that closet stuck out.
Yeah, there you go.
So we were able to gain this much square footage, and that's what gave us, extra floor space to actually do the designer's idea.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now this right here, this wall, this corner right here, that is this corner here in the layout, okay? And you can see here, Leo's poking his head out of this entry here. And this countertop space, that's this here. Now the original design, and this is where you also have to keep in mind, the functionality of what you're going to do in the house. Originally, we had to put the dishwasher in this location. But I didn't like that because if you're coming into the kitchen through here and somebody's opening up the dishwasher here,
you can't go inside.
you can't go inside the kitchen. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So we moved the dishwasher to this side of the sink, and that worked out good there. Okay, now this is where we were able to find extra space as well. So this wall here,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to see it in this schematic because we got rid of this wall. But this wall, you see this portion of this wall here, and this wall was opposite. It actually lined up with it right in here. And we tore out that wall, and it gave us, and now it opened up the floor space even more.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see there's a little bit of countertop space, but a bunch of cabinetry and drawers. So if you can imagine, this wall lined up with this one, and then on top of that, you had cabinetry that stuck out, 20 some odd inches into the floor here. So you had all this extra, cabinetry here. You had this.
It was bulky.
Here. Yes.
It was bulky inside.
Yeah. So very, very small amount of spacing in here. You put 2-3 people in there, it's crowded already. And that was a challenge that we were having on this deal here. So these are now photos there of the walls being removed.
Mm-hmm.
So now here where the drywall ends here, this was the first wall that we removed. And back here where this drywall starts, this was the second wall that we removed. So the cabinets there that I was just talking about were right in this area right here. We just got rid of that stuff. And then in this photo here, you can start seeing the framing starting to take shape. So right here, this is where the peninsula, the designer's idea of this peninsula was starting to take shape.
Plus, we pushed in that closet, so we had an additional 14 inches for the counter space next to the stove.
Correct, and that's where you see some of these vertical frames here. This is the closet there. Before this wall was here, that wall is out, and then we have just some supports here. Okay, now the original kitchen was so small that they couldn't even fit the refrigerator inside the kitchen itself. So this refrigerator was actually sitting out here. So before there was this wall here and the refrigerator was out here, and that really didn't make sense to me. So, we wanted to put the refrigerator in the kitchen where it belongs. And so that's where this little area came into the fold here. There was actually some weird little benches in here. Once we removed that, now we were able to put the refrigerator in here. And this house actually didn't even have washer and dryer hookups. So we put the washer and dryer hookups right in here. We kept the pantry, and now we had a really good functional kitchen. So here's the peninsula idea that Denise had. So she said, well, put some countertop space in here, put the stove in there. And so what she did here with the countertop was she wrapped it around the wall and brought it all the way out to the living room and out to the other wall. And this was just a genius idea. And I'll show you here some photos. Okay, so yeah, here, so you can see here, this is some of her renderings. So you can see here now, we got a lot more, foot space here in the kitchen now, but this was her peninsula idea, wraps around the wall over here and travels further down.
She created more space, more counter space, and extended it out so people can enjoy and have lunch, dinner, or just sit around in front of the stove right there. It created space.
Okay, and that was another concern of ours, was a countertop space. I'm glad you brought that up, Carlos, because just from my experience of showing rentals, the first thing women always want to know is how much cabinet space they have and how much countertop space they have. And so I was really adamant that I wanted to put a little like kind of like a coffee station here. And that's what this is over here. You can kind of see that there. But the design divas, they pointed something out to us too, is that here we were going to have these drawers that we're going to pull out. And the problem here was that when they pulled out, because we had this wall offsetting here, it was going to bump up against this back face of the wall. So we had a little challenge with that, and we had some ideas of maybe cutting this cabinet back so that so it had less depth and would allow the drawer to open up further. But this is where our cabinet guy,
he fixed the problem. He saw it.
He fixed the problem. How do you do that, Carlos? You remember?
It's basically like 4 inches or 5 inches of like a blank space. So he just covered it with a cabinet material to make it seem like something was there, but it was just empty space. So when you pull on the door, it wasn't going to hit that lip. Like it barely kissed it, but those extra 4 inches were just blank space, and it just blended it in really easily.
Yeah, so basically he kind of gapped it. He put a spacer in between this wall and the edge of the cabinet that was the same width as this offset in the wall, stalled it in this area. So now when this drawer would get pulled, it would come up and pull out right along the wall there. So
hmm
it was a perfect solution to that scenario there.
And it looked nice. It was nice and blended. Nobody could even tell that was there. So it was a good solution that he saw.
Yeah, yeah, and I just seeing here, noticing from Michelle, is asking if it's not confidential, did Denise charge you by the room or the entire home? How much was her fee? What did she charge us on that, Carlos?
She just basically does a flat fee for the kitchen and then a flat fee for the bathroom or even the exterior. But I think for this one it was like $500.
Yeah, she's very
So
reasonable.
she's reasonable, which based on these drawings, we think is, I mean, we thought it's a good price for the amount of work that she did to be able to create this kitchen.
Yeah, and having the drawings there, the renderings here, because we're looking at just bare wood framing there. And so this is what it turned out. So this was her peninsula here. So like you
Mhm.
said, it wrapped around the corner of this wall. And then we have these stools here. So it gives us extra seating space, extra countertop space. So we got countertop space to the left of the stove, a little bit to the right of the stove. We were actually able to fit in a little spice rack that pulled out here. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it was just an awesome idea, and she really saved this kitchen, is what she did.
Yeah, when you and go back to that previous picture, Omar. Yeah, and this one here, if the picture on the left, you can actually still see like the cutout for the closet that was in the adjacent bedroom that we took the 14 inches from,
That's just
and
Mhm.
and that's where the hood is. So I mean, even still, that third chair only has like just maybe about a 12-inch countertop. Like if somebody was actually trying to eat off of that, maybe not so much, but it still has room enough for the 3 chairs right there. And then of course the solution next to the refrigerator. I mean, this is the challenge with really small square footage houses, how to best make use of the space that we have. And that having somebody come in on your team that can actually come up with some really creative design ideas, but then also having the contractors that are actually going to help you implement it is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So like I mentioned before, real estate investing really is a team sport, guys. It's it's really unreasonable for one individual to have all the solutions. You have to get the experts and people that know more than you do, and bring them into your projects, and have them present solutions. Some of them are going to be good, some of them not so good. You know, at the end, when you're running the show, you decide, and if hopefully you make a good decision. And if you don't make a good decision, you learn from it and you move on. This was her rendering here. So when I saw this, I was like, yeah, that's it. That's her kitchen.
Yeah.
So this is her rendering. This is the final solution there. So, okay. So then the gold treatment here in the bathroom here. So this is all about now doing something different. Okay. And setting the market. And the idea here, guys, is that there actually was not a whole lot of stuff, a whole lot of inventory out there. Okay, so we wanted to set this flip apart from anything else that any other prospective buyer was going to walk into. Okay, and me and Carlos, we got together. I think what were we were researching? I think it was on Instagram or Pinterest, or I don't know. We were just looking at home designs, right?
Yeah, we were on Pinterest. We were online. We had decided to go with the gold fixtures because at first, I, I don't think we were gonna go with the regular
Oh,
silver, right, Omar? I mean, or we just went straight to gold. And so now we went online to see, okay, what are they, or how do they even look like? What is the design? You
yeah.
know?
Well, the original plan is that we were going to do the same thing that we did on our La Habra house, which is just standard flip, like you said, average kind of materials. I mean, it looks
Mhm.
good. Everything looks good. But you know, this, I don't know where we saw this. I remember seeing some photos where with the marbly kind of tile, and then with the glass, with the gold fixtures, and I don't know, I kind of really gravitated to that. And so I told Carlos, I was really adamant. It's like, we got to have these gold fixtures. I want to see how this is going to work out. And this whole project was really an experiment for us as well, because we were kind of really going outside of the normal, what we're used to.
This is outside of our comfort zone, definitely. And I mean, these are pretty good fixtures relative to that neighborhood. I mean, this is like kind of high up there, you know. I mean, if you were to see the neighborhood, it's a regular working class neighborhood. It happens to be in Long Beach, but it's definitely above that, you know, that street.
Yeah, and now one thing about the shower, I know, like this control knob here for the shower, I know our go-to guy, he had to come back in there and do some reconfigurations to the internal plumbing in there to make it work for this shower. So that's, you know, so that's something to kind of keep in mind, you know, whatever kind of fixtures you're gonna use, you know, make sure you guys know ahead of time in case they need to make some modifications to the internal plumbing, which wanted to be in the case on this one. And you know, like, I know, like, this fixture here was not, you know, terribly expensive. You know, they are going to cost more, but it's going to set you apart. And that's what we were trying to do here. And now on this vanity, I was very adamant too of having an oversized vanity. You know, typically in these small houses, you're going to see little pedestal type sinks.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to tell in these pictures, but that is a pretty sizable vanity that we decided to go with. And you know, once you walk in, it kind of hits you a little bit. It like pops because it's pretty big. It's not even supposed to be that big compared to the size of the bathroom.
And I actually wanted to go bigger.
and he wanted to go bigger, and it wasn't going to fit, but we didn't know that.
Yeah, that was a problem. If we went bigger, the door would have swung and hit the corner of this. It
had like this much, and it just hit that corner, and we just got lucky basically because it would have hit.
Now, what? And the reason I wanted to go with an oversized vanity, guys, is that, you know, my experience, you know, women, they have all sorts of, you know, hair tools. They got their hair dryers, they got their curlers, they got their, you know, whatever, their straighteners, their this, their that, and they need the extra countertop space to put all their, you know, hair plug-in tools when they're getting dolled up, right? So, so that was my thinking on this thing. And then also with the, there's kind of a trend right now is to have these kind of oversized mirrors. So we spent a little extra, got a little nicer mirror, and man, everybody just loved the bathroom. Now,
yeah, we had shower doors which look really nice. So that really kind of made it some glass shower doors, made it just a really nice bathroom.
Now, I just noticed here that Randy chimed in here in the chat box. Weren't you worried you might over renovate for the area? And Randy, if we were doing this deal a year prior, I think I probably would have those thoughts. But you know, during this time, you know, everybody was predicted that prices of real estate were going to go down and this and that. But you know, with the market out there, it was, you know, prices were really kind of skyrocketing out there. And so I really wasn't too worried about over renovating for the area. Like this house, we took this house from the worst to the first in that neighborhood, you know, and like I mentioned before, the neighbor now, he renovated his house, put all new windows. In fact, the guy, he poached our guy who finished up the bathroom to do his bathroom as well. So
yeah,
so it's kind of interesting when you do these kind of projects, and it's not the first time I've seen this, but when you do these kind of projects, you're going to see the neighbors kind of start taking pride in their properties too, and they're going to start, renovating their properties as well. So moving right along. Okay, this is kind of creating the perception of extra space. Now, we didn't add any square footage into this house at all. It just was not in the budget. So it's doing creative things to make it appear like it's bigger than it really is. Okay. And in this bedroom, this was the master bedroom because it had the bigger closet. It had a swinging door here that would swing out, and then you can, go inside and grab your clothes and all that. And I didn't like that because, every time you swing the door open, it takes up extra space. So I really wanted to put a bifolding door in here. So that we wouldn't have to do that. And one of our original ideas was to actually put in a pocket door into this wall here. But I rejected that idea because the way this room was laid out, I could see somebody, putting something here, or maybe even installing a TV here or something of that nature. And if you had to put wiring in here, then that pocket door was going to be a problem there. So that didn't work out. So we went with this bifold door, but I didn't want to just go with just like a standard,
just a regular one.
Yeah, just a regular Home Depot white bifold door. So, so we did some searches and we spent a little bit extra. This was a door that had frosted glass on it with this wood texture trim on it. And it kind of gave the room some character.
Yeah, we spend I mean, I think it was like $400 just on that door is really what that door costed.
Is that what it was? Yeah.
I think it was.
So, and then the other thing here, because it did have this kind of somewhat of a walk-in closet here, we had the house staged, and I told the stager that I wanted to make sure they put a dresser, some kind of a dresser or furniture in the closet, so that a prospective buyer would have the idea that they didn't have to take up extra space at the bedroom to put their dresser. They could put the dresser in the closet. So it's this whole thinking about, saving space. How when people are walking through there, and staging, this was actually, I think, the first house we staged, actually. I'm not sure if it was the first one, but very few houses that we've staged before. And so this one, we staged it in such a way to kind of to give the prospective buyer ideas. And this was one of the things I wanted him to think about. Hey, you have the space in the closet to put your dresser in there. You don't have to take up extra space in the bedroom there. Okay, so now we're getting into the sales process of this flip here. So we listed it for $589,000. And I actually consulted with my friend Sati. So she's flipped many properties out there in Long Beach. And we were actually planning on pricing it lower. But after I talked to her about that, I felt comfortable with that pricing. I saw some of the comps that were in the neighborhood there. And so we went with that one. And at that price, we were going to be setting the market there for sure. No doubt about it. And we actually wound up getting multiple offers at $600,000.
Yeah, but the challenge was with those multiple offers is that because we're setting the market in the resale of this property, is we want to make sure that the buyers are actually going to put their money where their mouth is. And so what we did is we would counter the buyers and say, look, it's not going to be subject to appraisal. So if the property doesn't appraise, then you as the buyer have to pay the difference. And, you know, so some buyers were not accepting of that. Eventually we did, you know, sell it to a buyer who was willing to work on those terms. But that's just a condition of the marketplace right now, because you know, it's such a white hot market. It's a seller's market. We had the right and the ability, and there was enough buyers out there that you know, if they really wanted it, they're gonna do what they need to do to actually take their deal down.
Yeah, so we're definitely fortunate to be in a seller's market at the time here. So that helped us out. But even despite all that, you know, there were still some challenges here. And yeah, I mean, it came out looking great. We added these 2 extra cabinets that were not there before. And you can tell now from that small dinky little kitchen, now we got some good countertop space. We went with the higher end stove on there too.
Mhm.
You know, with sticking with that whole idea of, you know, trying to set that market there. We wanted to do something different than what other people are going to be walking into there. All right, so here's where we had our challenge here. So we had some issues here with the floors here. And I noticed shortly after the floors, you know, typically floors are one of the last things that you wind up doing on a flip project. And the reason you do that, you don't want to put your floors in there, you know, before you do the painting, because then you run the risk of getting paint on your floors. Okay, so there's a certain sequence of things that you do to make the rehab, you know, just more efficient. And I remember just before listening, just walking around and just, you know, feeling, man, I was very anxious about these floors because there was this bouncy feel to them, and especially right here, you see where this bedroom. This is the second bedroom,
Mhm.
and here to the right of the bed here, right along here, there was just kind of this bouncy, springy feel to the floors, and I was just like, and I didn't feel good about that. Did not feel good about that at all. But you know,
Yeah, it was really bouncy during right there where, you know, in that second bedroom, in the hallway too was kind of bouncy, and the bathroom.
yeah, but
Um,
those weren't too bad. Right here is where it was really bad, right?
it was really obvious.
So, you know, so at this point, you know, we're getting ready to list, and we said, well, you know, do we bite the bullet and you know, tear out the floors and you know, and by this point, everybody, we'd already been delayed so much by the original contractor and his subcontractors that had delayed the work. You know, we were getting pretty anxious here to get this deal, you know, listed and sold off.
Mhm.
But these floors wound up really haunting us here during the sale, because even though we were getting offers above ask, the inspectors would consistently notate the floors. Now, we knew there was no issues with the foundation because we did a lot of work on that foundation, you know, put all new beams and all that stuff. But when an inspector goes in there and they notate something, they don't always tell you what it is, but they're going to say it may be this or maybe that, or that. So now they kind of open up the doors to, you know, what the possibilities might be.
Mhm.
And for this kind of house, these smaller types of house, it's your buyers are going to be more first-time home buyers.
Yeah.
And so when a lot of these first-time home buyers were hearing these things or buying the house for the first time, it really scared off a lot of people. They're like, "Oh my God, there's a foundation issue. What, you know,
Yeah.
how do I deal with that?" You know, it scared off a lot of buyers. And then so we'd get another buyer would come in, and then their inspector, you know, may notate the same thing. They would find different things.
Now there was something in the roof, you know, from the third inspector that the first inspector didn't see for some reason.
And
And then
we
the
actually did do our own inspection too. You know, we did multiple inspections with multiple contractors, and
Mhm.
Yeah, so so at this point, I pretty much had enough of that. I said, okay, wait, Jeffrey, take the property off the market. Let's bring our guy in here. Let's tear up these floors. Let's find out what the heck is going on in here.
So we
And-
tore off the floors in the second bedroom, right? And the hallway.
Second bedroom, hallway, and in the bathroom as well.
Mhm.
And what wound up happening, I'm not sure exactly how this, I don't know if it happened like during the construction of it or what it was, but one of the subfloors here, and it was actually really at the edge of this wall here, had, there's horizontal beams that the subfloor sits on. And somehow one of the subfloors had slipped off the support beam. And so so when it slipped off there, every time you'd walk in there, it'd have this spongy kind of feel to it. And so that's what happened. And so once the guy found out what it was just a matter of going in there, re-supporting it up. And, he tore out this floor, the subfloor, and boom, he fixed it. And that thing was solid as a brick after that. Mark said, did it fall out of escrow because of the inspection findings? Yes, it did. I think it fell out of escrow at least once, maybe even twice. I can't remember, but yeah, I know.
How many times? I think, yeah, a
It
few
was
times,
three
right, Jeffrey?
times. It was three times.
3 times. So after 3 times,
Yeah, one was because of the foundation. The second one was because of those bouncy feelings in the floor.
Yeah.
And then I forget the other third one, Jeffrey knows, but yeah, a few times it fell out of escrow.
Yeah, so after that, we were just, hey, let's get in there and figure out what's going on here. So finally sold here at 590. We gave some credits to the buyer because of, he's got his inspector and he's finding something else, so.
But that's also the challenge too. I mean, when you have a 1920s built property. Yeah, we basically built it up, but still, I mean, the foundation is still the same foundation. You're going to have, earth that settles. We have earthquakes in California, and yeah, it's not like a brand new foundation that's just been graded and leveled and all that. It's 100-year-old home. So that was the challenge, where we'd have these first-time home buyers that very realistically want to have a property that's going to last them as long as they own it, and that they want to be able to make sure that they could resell it at some point in the future. But that was the challenge is that many of these first-time home buyers were being, in my opinion, a little bit unrealistic. And we had actual multiple conversations with some of their property inspectors as well. But the bottom line was it happened the way it was supposed to happen, because eventually we did get a buyer that came in who had a VA loan, and they were the ones that because we had countered a couple of different buyers after pulling the property off the market and then putting it back on the market, where we had multiple offers and did multiple counters where we said, yeah, we'll accept your offer, but not subject to appraisal. So that was a real important step for us as the sellers in this marketplace, because we were setting the market for this neighborhood. And yes, although the prices are going up, it's really hard to convince an appraiser our house is worth 45 grand more than the last comp that's sold in the neighborhood. And when that happened, we have to make sure that that we're not going to eat it because the buyer saying, oh, they don't want to pay the difference. It's like, well, if you didn't want to pay it, then why did you offer? That's what real estate is, right? When you have an open market, it's a willing buyer and a willing seller. So they were willing to pay 590. We were willing to sell it at 590, but we just said, hey, if it doesn't appraise, the offers, the contract's not going to be subject to the appraisal. And you know,
Mhm.
I think somebody had asked in the chat box, so did it appraise? It actually appraised for 580. So, you know, they had to come up with the $10,000 difference. But then, you know, we issued, you know, closing cost credits. So it was almost a wash for them. I think they actually paid a couple of grand. I know it says here 9 grand, but I think they paid like 2,000 or $3,000, you know, above the 580, and then the rest was credited to them as closing cost credits.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up about the inspectors there, Jeffrey, because, you know, the inspectors were telling us, with the age of these homes, you're gonna find
Yeah.
kind of things are gonna happen. Um, but if we're selling to a second home buyer,
Mhm.
somebody go upgrade to the next house, you know, some of these things that come up, they're not gonna flinch at them. But
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
it was mostly first-time home buyers looking at this type of a house
Mhm.
here, they don't have
Mhm.
that experience of home ownership and, these kind of
Mhm.
scenarios. So, and I think so that presented a challenge there. Um,
I, I know, real quick that the terminology in the inspection report was what scared the buyers because it said foundation problems, further investigation needed, right? But
right,
there weren't no foundation problems. It was just a couple of posts that the integrity of the posts were questionable. So that was the foundation problem, but there is no problem. It's just we need to replace the posts, which was $250 plus labor that costed us to get a new post and a better pier, and that was the foundation problem.
right. So so that's the way it goes sometimes. And somebody was asking a appraisal question about VA loans. Oh, okay. Michelle's asking, is it true that for VA loans, it's okay if the appraiser's value doesn't match? Uh, no, I don't think that's okay. That
No,
doesn't sound
no.
right.
Actually, the buyers, they actually challenged their appraiser, their lender's appraisal. And the reason being is because they didn't want to have to come up with the difference, right? A VA loan is 100% loan. So, you
Mm.
know, if it appraised for 590, then they would have been in with zero down. And so, you know, I don't remember exactly what the first value came in, but it was less than 580. And then, you know, they actually challenged it themselves, and then the appraisal came back at 580.
I was actually on site to kind of shadow the appraiser while he's there, and that's something I recommend you guys all do. Don't, you know, I think in the beginning we let the inspectors kind of go in there and left them to their own devices. But when it comes to inspectors, when it comes to appraisers, any of these
Mhm.
third-party guys, for the buyers, I definitely recommend, being on site or having somebody on your team be on site and just kind of like, be on top of them because I know, the appraiser, we had our own set of comps and I said, hey, here's some comps. And that valuation was actually a very reasonable valuation because there were comparables to the north and to the south of this property surrounding the neighborhood that that were reasonable for that value. Um, but he was still kind of being kind of sticky about it, and
Mm.
and I've heard out there that VA loans tend to be a little bit tougher. So,
Mm.
but in this environment where um, you hear on the news people are offering, thousands over asking, depending on the city, there's people offering like hundreds of thousands over asking, right?
Literally, yeah, like 200 grand at 150.
Yeah, you're gonna have issues with the appraisers on this kind of a market. So um okay, well this is our underwriting sheet. Don't There's a lot of stuff in here, but the main thing I want you to just kind of focus on is on this area here that I'm circling down here. And this is what we used to keep us on track. most flips, you generally want to be in and out of there, within a 6-month period. Less is better. More is not better. But you can see right here, so we schedule about 2 months for the rehab, 2 months for the marketing and, listing, and then 2 months to close. So altogether, this is about a 6-month period. And then you got this red zone area that we call it the red zone. And you can see here when we finally closed, we were pretty deep into the red zone. We actually had to get an extension from our hard money lender. I think at this time they were only doing 6 months loans. So we had to get an extension on that.
Which you can see the cost right there at month 6. There's the extra cost for the extension.
The $3,000. So the longer these rehabs take you, the more it's cutting into your profit. Now, experienced flippers always analyze their deals on a 12-month period. Okay, just in case, just for a scenario, just in case something does not go right. Most flippers expect to be out, by the 6-month period, no later than that. But if you do your analysis anticipating to only be in the deal for 6 months, and it goes beyond that, you could be in trouble. You can now start losing money. Now, we still made money because we did a proper analysis going out to 12 months. So, that's the important thing to take away from this slide here. So here's how the numbers came out in the end. So we sold it for $590. I said originally we purchased it for $360. We have our closing costs, a little over $80,000 on the rehab there. So a total acquisition was $457. And then our holding costs and the selling costs at the end is $74,000. So at the end, we made profits of $58,000. It's not bad. No one's getting super rich off this deal, but it keeps the lights on and puts some money in our pocket, and gets us going for the next deal.
But yeah, wait, go. Can you go back one? Yeah. So you see there that rehab cost, and then earlier in the presentation that we had like an estimation of 50 to 60. So, approximately 20 to 30,000 over our original budget, under our underwritten budget for this rehab, and that kind of goes into what we were talking about as far as like what we didn't do so well. So go ahead and advance.
And yeah, I was just seeing in here, I see from Mr. E over here, occasionally wholesale deals. I don't know if you're still looking. Absolutely. We're always looking for deals. So if you got something comes across your desk, send it our way. All right. So after these big projects, me, Jeffrey, and Carlos, we got together. In fact, I still got the notes here. This was back in May when we closed on that deal here.
Yeah.
And, we like to talk about, what we did right, what we didn't do so right, what we could do better. What we did do right on this is that we changed the contractor, but not soon enough. But we did change the contractor. I've known folks in the past, they're kind of reluctant once they stick to one guy. They kind of want to, stay with the same jockey, so to say. But if you're having issues,
sooner is better. You just gotta make sure that the ball is moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So the sooner you can make the change, the sooner you get making progress. The design on the kitchen, that was a winner for us, and all the credit on that has to go to Denise and her team over at the Three Divas. They really saved that kitchen. That was their design. The bathroom design, going with that the gold treatment on that.
The larger vanity, the tub seat.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, spending a little bit more on the fixtures there was a good thing. Consulting on the pricing with our friend Sati, the experienced flipper. Yeah, I talked to a couple other flippers. You know, one girl I talked to, she says, "Yeah, I don't like doing 2-bedroom homes," and I can understand after this project why. You know, it's a different, or she's done it before, so it's a different type of buyer that you're working with. But then Sati, who consulted with us, who we consulted with on the price, she says she loves 2-bedroom houses. And in fact, she says, "I love these houses. You know, I buy them, I put them up for 590, 600,000." And but you know, she does very elaborate flips. So so I can see why she's used to setting the pricing in her market. We did exercise quite a bit of patience, you know, towards the end there when you know, we were having these you know, the issue with the flooring and the inspectors, and that kept coming up. You know, we could have just said, you know, let's move this thing, drop the price, whatever. Let's just get this thing sold. But you know, I think we all kind of felt that, you know, if we fixed the issue, we were going to get the pricing right. And so that's what we did. You know, we decided, okay, let's just tear out these floors again. Let's do this thing. Let's get this thing fixed. And
we took it offline too, right? For, I mean, how long was it offline when we did that? Like 2 weeks, a week and a half?
No, it was longer than that. I think it was about 3 weeks.
3
Yeah.
weeks. Okay, that seems kind of surprising, but yeah, maybe it was that. So, and then removing the appraisal contingency, like what Jeffrey was talking about there. So, these were all the things that we did right. What we didn't do so right, addressing that flooring prior to listing it, you know, because you know, I do remember noticing that bouncy flooring just prior to listing and having apprehension about that. So that's something, you know, I definitely didn't anticipate that it would be such a major issue in the end, but that's something that we did not do right. Releasing payments to the contractor early. Yeah, so, you know, the contractor would tell us that something was finished, and then you know, we release payment, then we go back there and find out, hey, what the heck, this thing's, you know, still needs some work done. And then the other items were just kind of some design ideas that looking back, we wish we would have done. I know Carlos, you really wanted to install a door in the
backyard.
in the backyard. That was kind of I guess I can go back. Let me see. No, it's not in this one. Let me see if, okay, so right here, you see where this window is here, folks? Right here, this would have been a good spot to put a door that goes directly to the backyard, because the way it's set up right now, there was a door here to the side. So you'd come out of the driveway, and then you'd walk around the corner and then go into the backyard. So that would have been something that you know, would have been nice there. And it's kind of funny because the guy that we actually sold it to, after we sold it, he actually wound up installing a slider on the other bedroom that goes right into the backyard.
So they ended up making a slider eventually and put up in the bedroom, which is a good idea too.
Yeah, that was a good idea too. And then removing these windows in the bathroom, that's referring to these. Okay, so here's a bathroom again. So these two big windows you guys see here, you know, keeping those in there was just a cost consideration. But, you know, since we'd already demoed this whole thing, I mean, we were down to the studs. So it wouldn't have been terribly difficult to just remove these windows, put like a little slot window, kind of like what you see in more modern bathrooms. And, you know, nobody really ever said anything about the windows, but, you know, you don't generally want to have big ass windows in the bathroom, you know what I mean?
Where people are showering.
Exactly, yeah, so that was that, but it was really fun seeing this thing get all the way to the end. I see here a couple of questions here.
Let's see the question.
Where is it? Somebody was asking about, when firing the contractor, do you have any concerns with regards to them filing a mechanic's lien? The contractors are only going to file a mechanic's lien if they do work and you don't pay them for the work.
Mhm.
By the time we fired this guy, he had done, what he needed to do,
Mhm.
and he still had other projects. It was more the finishing
Yeah.
projects of the bathroom that we were just not going to allow him to move forward
Mhm.
on. So
And he eventually came back and did some free work to kind of make up for some of the stuff that he didn't do when we kind of had released some of the money, which
yeah,
is part of the bathroom, So it was just minor things, which was installing the tub, toilet, lights, those like last things that need to be done after we kind of paint and do flooring. So they were minor, but he had a lot of problems and he brought those problems to the work site. And some of his subcontractors were just kind of sloppy. We had to redo the framing because they saw, they did some of the calculations wrong, but some of the mistakes.
yeah, and I mean, to the guy's credit, I mean, he did have integrity in that. He was
Yeah.
coming back, the errors that his subcontractors did, he was fixing them himself.
Hmm.
And, so, that the guy was trying to make up for the things that didn't go wrong on his end there. Michelle's asking, if it's not confident, how much did you pay the wholesaler? I think they made, what is it, like 20,000 on this deal, I think is what they
It
made.
was 17,500 after they paid the half of the cash for keys.
Okay.
Nice assignment fee for the wholesale, but who knows how much they've spent to acquire that deal and how long they've been working on that deal,
There's another wholesaler there, Charles. Charles, he's been sending me a few deals there, so he's another wholesaler there that you guys can connect with. EK saying always hold back 10% retention until the punch items are complete. Yep, that's a good advice to follow there. Also joint check on the mechanics liens. I'm not sure what that means there. That should have come from the designers, right? I'm not sure what that means. Just could have done better. As far as the doors and all that, no, the designers, they didn't have any, those were ideas that, that we had bounced around, but it just comes out to cost considerations, because putting that door on the back, on the back of the kitchen to the backyard, we would have had to also install some steps to go down, so then with these projects, you always have a budget to work with. And so there's always cost considerations for all these things.
Mm-hmm.
Lousy, yeah, yep, reviews for the lousy contractors, right. Did you pay time and materials for the contractors, or did you have firm bids for the different parts of the job? Yeah, we had firm bids for the different parts of the jobs. He was including the materials in there and all that. And typically that's what you want to do. You
Yeah.
want to make sure the contractor is including the materials. Now, I do know that people doing, construction renovation jobs, when the price of lumber was just, it shot up like 300%. Contractors would only bid with their labor because they could not anticipate what the price of wood was. So,
Mhm.
it was, the times here were very, very unstable times right now. Very, a lot of changes were coming up, and you just had to kind of, do the best that you can and work with what you could do. Okay, yeah, and Karen, she just chimed in. Make sure you have your lien waivers and releases from your contractors before you fire them. Yep, that's good advice to have there. Did you pull city permits on changing the walls? Not on the walls, but I know on some of the things, the electrical, the plumbing, we had to, or on the electrical, we definitely had to get some permits.
The HVAC system, the
On the
the
HVAC
mini
system.
split, yeah.
Yeah, we actually put a mini split system on there.
Mhm.
This is on these smaller homes, that's this right here. You can see this little box up here up on the wall. On smaller houses, you can go with with these mini splits because you don't need a big, massive, 5-ton HVAC system, to cool a house like this. These mini splits do very well for apartments and smaller square footage houses like this one here. Any issues with city inspectors? No, not that I can remember. It was mostly just the buyer's inspectors.
It was mainly the buyers and inspectors that were giving us a lot of just problems.
Yep, yeah. EK is asking, so what are you doing with the profits? Looking for the next deal? Yep, you got that right. We're looking for the next
Mhm.
deal. And okay, Faradin is asking, is it possible I get your contact info? Yeah, sure. Yeah, the best way to get in contact with those guys. Yeah, let me see. I'm gonna get to the end of this. We're getting to the wrapping this thing up. So if you guys want to learn about house flipping, one of the easiest ways to do that is to work with other guys that are flipping, guys like us. There's other people out there, but we're pretty damn good at what we do. So if you want to participate on a flip with us, go to our website, you go to our contact us page, and then you can just put in your information in there. And just put in there, hey, interested in getting involved in flipping houses, learning how to flip, and then an email will shoot out to us. Faradun, if you go to our website, I believe it's on the contact us page. Our emails are on there. Our information is out there. Our phone numbers are out there, and all our contact info is there. So that's the way to check that out.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's it for this presentation. I hope you guys got some good information. It's getting kind of to the almost to the top of the hour, but if anybody's got any questions, if you know how to unmute yourselves, you can go ahead and unmute yourself. We could take a few questions here for the next minute or two. If anybody has any questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Michelle. Yeah, and it was definitely a big change.
All right. Okay. So
Huge, yeah. The neighbors were really happy, by the way.
okay, she's asking, do we have a goal as far as how many renovations we want to do in the year? We feel pretty comfortable with doing about, 2 to 3 every quarter, so about maybe, one every month, one every other month, something like that is something that, is in our capacity to do.
Yeah, no more cockroaches.
Isn't in the neighborhood. Let's go. Oh yeah. In fact, our contractors, they couldn't even go inside and give us a quote because it was just so roach infested.
Mhm.
Everybody was worried that they'd track roaches back home. So,
Mhm.
so in fact, I should have put it on there. But the first thing we did was fumigate the house.
Completely.
Uh,
We
and-
couldn't even get our designer to go in there. We were trying to get her inside there before we closed, but she was too scared to go inside the kitchen.
well, no, she did come in. Remember, Carla? She showed up in her shorts. She showed up in her shorts.
She was just peeking in, but she didn't really fully go inside the kitchen because she made a
that's-
mistake of coming in shorts for some reason.
Oh my God. I mean, you guys just can't imagine, the scenario there. It was crazy. So, but at any rate, guys, we're gonna go ahead and call it a night there. Hey, don't forget, this whole presentation is getting recorded. So if you want a copy of this recording
Yeah.
and come back and watch it and learn from it as many times as you want, make sure you put your email in the chat box there. And then once, we download it, we have our assistants there. They're going to do a little bit of editing there, and then they'll upload it up to this YouTube private link. And once it's up there, they're gonna email you out that link, and then you can watch this thing as many times you want. But give us a little bit of time. It's not something that's gonna happen, tomorrow. Okay, we have to do a little bit of editing and uploading and all that stuff. So give it a little bit of time. And don't forget, guys, next month, David Cole and Brian Miller, they're gonna be talking about development deals, taking this whole rehab idea to a whole nother level, building from scratch, I guess. So don't miss that one. Tell your friends about our club and help us get to 10,000 by the end of the year. That's the goal. 10,000 members. And so with that, I am going to shut it down. Hey, I hope you guys all have a fantastic night, and we'll see you all next month. Take care.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Take
guys.
care. Thank you, guys.